Now, let's talk about why you wait and how to stop and do some real time self-sabotage mapping because we can't change what we can't acknowledge. I want to remind you that when it comes to hesitating and you believing that you lack confidence, you're not truly stuck. Brain science tells us that you're actually running a pattern based on your current trained behavior. But you may not even know that you've been trained on it. Most people really don't suck at confidence. They don't lack confidence. They've simply built a very strong hesitation habit. And our brains revert to the strong neural pathway that we've created by the act of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And when I talk about a neural pathway, I won't get all sciencey on you. I'm the science geek girl. Nonetheless, it's like if we had a forest and the grass grew in the spring and we want to create a path. Here's a forest. Here's our house. Here's a grocery store. And every time you walk to the grocery store, the first time you walk, you have to really stomp through the high grass. But by the fifth time, the grass is lower. And about the 15th time, the grass is trampled, that no grass is growing there any longer. And now you can actually see the path all the way through, although there's high grass on either side. That's what a neural pathway is, right? Doing something over and over and over again so it gets concreted in your brain. That's your nervous system. When you lean into that neural pathway, like that's your nervous system trying to keep you safe. It's called a threat response loop. And your brain is designed for one primary job only. It's about prediction and protection. But what most people don't know or don't recognize, they actually repeat. And most of the time, you know exactly what you need to say. How many situations have we been in? You know exactly what you need to do. Most of it's not that we don't know what to do. Something stops us from doing it. You know, for some of you here, you know the exact call you need to make. You know who you need to reach out to. You know the exact boundary that you need to set. And the list goes on and on and on. But you wait to feel confident. Waste of freaking time. Happening behind the scenes that no one talks about is this. You're waiting because you've trained your nervous system to believe that hesitation feels safer than moving forwards, that forward movement. So it's now an unconscious reaction. So you might say stuff like, I'm just thinking about it. You know, I'm being strategic. I need more time. I'm almost ready, Karen. I'm almost ready. Sound familiar to anyone here? And sometimes those things are true. I get it. Sometimes those things are true. But most of the time it's BS. It is your fear dressed up in a fancy dress with the big earrings and jewelry or that professional suit with those 3-inch heels on. And if we were alive, you'd see my 3-inch heels. Right now, I don't have them on, but I'm that 3-inch heel lady. I want you to know that the longer you repeat hesitation, the more normal it feels. Your brain starts believing that when you pause, it equals protection. And when you delay something, whatever that thing is, it equals safety. But every time that you hesitate in a moment that matters to you, a moment that where there's something super important that you need to do, you reinforce the wrong identity. And here is the brain pattern that you reinforce. 1, I don't trust myself. That's a brain pattern that you reinforce. And 2, I need permission. By who? From who? But I need permission before I act. So let's jump back, get your pen and paper. Pen and paper? Everyone's got it? Good. No judgment. This is not about judgment. This is about awareness. And I'll have my team put the questions in the chat after I share them. Got it? All in. Everyone has to play all in. You don't shift if you watch. I don't want anyone on the sidelines here. I'm talking directly to you. I'm that type of coach. I don't play. I do sometimes, but seriously. Question number 1. When I know, complete a sentence. When I know what to do, I usually, example, like I wait, I delay, I research more, I distract myself, I ask other people. So the question again, when I know what to do, I usually give you a few seconds there. Next, the story I tell myself before acting is some examples. This may not be yours. I'm just giving you some examples. I need more clarity. Now's not the time. I'm not ready. What if I fail? Question number three, or number three, I tend to wait for confidence, certainty, permission, perfect timing, support. The list goes on. I tend to wait for. Next one, number four. What I fear most if I move right now is fill in the blank. Some examples, these may not be yours. I do not want to put words in your mouth, but just some prompters. What I fear most if I move right now is rejection, judgment, being wrong, discomfort, being too visible, visibility. What we're identifying is your pattern that we need to break. Now, which one sounds most like you? And we want to identify your personal waiting pattern. Number one, are you an overthinker? Number one, are you an overthinker? You think so long that that moment passes. Number two, are you a perfectionist? You wait until it's perfect and it's flawless. Number three, are you a people pleaser? You worry about how others will react. There's no judgment here, remember. Honesty for yourself. Number four, do you fear exposure? Do you not want to be judged? Do you don't want to be seen or wrong? Five, are you the comfort keeper? Do you stay where it's comfortable, where it's familiar to you, even when it's too small? Are you an overthinker? Listen, we're not judging. We can't change what we can't acknowledge, though. Are you an overthinker, perfectionist, people pleaser? And I don't choose all of them because I think there's a little bit of all of those in everyone. Like, what is your primary pattern? What is your primary personal waiting pattern? Did you see those results? Different stories, but same outcome. Delay, no action, and no results. I remember when I was building my business, and I have to tell you what, it hasn't stopped happening to me. What shifted and what changes how I deal with it. So as I shared, as I entered the entrepreneurial world, I entered as a senior public speaking coach. So I used to work for a health charity and I used to represent them at conferences. I used to deliver their keynotes, accept the awards, deliver the workshops. And I used to sit at senior tables because I developed partnerships on behalf of this organization, this health charity over here in Ontario. And I went and the organization received an award. I went up, accepted it, and I gave a small speech. And one of the individuals, he was a CEO of another large organization. He came up and he said, Karen, who taught you to speak like that? I mean, who did the foundation pay to train you so you could speak like that? And I laughed. I can't state his name, but nonetheless, I said, I have been speaking on the side. And he's like, okay, I need to learn how to speak exactly like you. And he didn't believe that I trained myself. So I said, it was me. And he's like, are you sure? I can afford them. He went into that, because the foundation, he thought the foundation paid for someone to train me. So I said, I can take on as a client. He was my first ever client. And what happened was this, and this is how I got into the realm of senior management, into the realm of celebrities, professional athletes, politicians, because I started there. He saw me, he hired me, and his peers. So now we developed his skills. He's going on stages, he's presenting, and his peers are saying, okay, hold on. You're different. Who's your coach? And then all of a sudden, I have an executive assistant from this CSO, this COO, this CEO calling. Then I got a call from LA, right? A celebrity needed some help to prepare for the red carpet. Like, that's how it began for me. But let me tell you what happened. People judge me all the time because what they say to me is, Karen, you do not look like a senior executive C-suite public speaking coach. Tell me what a senior level public speaking coach looks like. I get judged all of the time, and I want to share this one occurrence as we move on, just to show you how real it is, but it has nothing to do with you. I went to an office and I went to coach. I can't remember if it was a C-suite executive. I can't remember if he was a CEO or CSO. Went up to the front desk. I said, hello, my name's Karen. I'm here to coach Mr. ABC. Assistant looked at me down the book. Are you Karen? I said, yes, I'm Karen Donaldson. I'm here to coach Mr. ABC. She looked down, looked up. She said, is Karen being dropped off at the front door? I'm like, no, I'm Karen. She asked me to have a seat. She picked up the phone, called my client who had never seen me before. This was based on a referral, hired on the spot because of the referral. She picked up the phone and didn't think I could hear her. It was one of those desks. I don't know if you've ever been in an office where the desk is up here and the receptionist is sitting down. So when you stand at the counter, you're looking here. I sat down. She said, Mr. ABC, there is this Black woman who said she's Karen Donaldson. And in that moment, my hairs on my skin went up. And I said to myself, oh, I can't believe she just said that. What do I do? Do I go and give her a tongue lashing, which I could have done? Or do I keep my composure because I knew what I was here to do and what I was here for and who to work with? And I decided to leave it. She came and showed me to the boardroom where I met with my client, and I told him what happened for the sheer sake of, I want you to know how your staff treats other people. And I left it with him. You see, judgment is something that will happen all of the time. It just won't stop. Other people's judgment is based on their perception, not yours. And this is one of occurrence. So now it's happened. It continues to happen, but I leave it alone because I get to define myself. They get to decide what they decide. They get to prioritize their thoughts. But what's most important for all of us, despite what other people say and think about us, we get to prioritize our own thoughts. Make sense? So when we talk about those patterns, right, that overthinker, that people pleaser, here's what I want you to know. These are not personality traits. They are conditioned responses. And conditioned responses, the good news, can be retrained. So, of course, now you're saying, Karen, but what do I do about it? Here's what you have to do about it. And the work that I do is based on neuroscience. So I'm a neuroscience-based peak performance coach and confidence coach. That's what I want you to know about me. So here is how we retrain ourselves. You must name your pattern out loud. You see, the moment you name a pattern, your pattern, you move it from an unconscious reaction and behavior to conscious awareness. And that matters neurologically, because we're talking about rewiring your confidence, rewiring your brain. That's the work that truly needs to be done. You see, naming it activates the prefrontal cortex, and I promise you I won't get too sciencey on you. It activates the prefrontal cortex, and that is basically the part of the brain that has to do with, or it's involved with reasoning, choice, and regulation. Now, when you name it, you create distance from it. So instead of saying something like, I'm indecisive, you change it to, I'm noticing my certainty pattern. Like, name it. Because that tiny shift reduces the emotional charge, and then it now gives you a choice. Got it? So now it's time to decide what your pattern breaker will be. We're going to do this together, because awareness without action changes nothing. And this is how we create a new neural pathway, a new habit, a new way of automatically showing up. Remember I talked about that forest that we walk through, and at first the grass is high and we trample it down? You have to create a new neural pathway for yourself. That's how habits are created, right? A pattern breaker is the move or the thing you do immediately when that old pattern appears. When your brain says, wait, it's about to lean into the pattern, you train it to experience some type of movement instead. So here's some pattern breakers. So if you're an overthinker, here's what I want you to do. Just write down which is yours or write down all of them. If you're an overthinker, start deciding in 30 seconds and move in that direction. If you are a perfectionist, I want you to decide and submit one version. Decide, see that word? Push forward that one. If you are a people pleaser, I want you to start asking yourself what you want first. If something has to be 100% certain, I want you to start deciding to choose the best option, the best available option to you. If you have a fear of judgment, I want you to jump in and act, like take that act, do that thing, act before asking for approval. If you have a fear of making the wrong move, I want you to make a reversible decision. Because here's the thing about making a wrong move. We can always make another one. So if A doesn't work, we still have the rest of the alphabet. And you might go to C. If C doesn't work, we still have J. If you have a fear of making the wrong move, make a reversible decision quickly. And here's the most important element. This is huge. I use this all the time as well when I need to, because I have gaps in my confidence. I want you to commit to taking the action, not the outcome. Here's where things fail for people. They commit to the outcome. And at most times we have very little control of the outcome, especially if it includes someone else or a group of people. You only have control over yourself. So the work that you must do, the only work that you must focus on, is to commit to taking the action, whatever that action is, and letting go. You see, your brain changes through repetition, not inspiration. And every time you interrupt that old pattern that you've just identified and move anyway, you teach your brain this. You teach your brain that uncertain action is survivable, right? Our brains are to keep us safe. Remember that. But uncertain action is survivable will now become a fact. You'll also teach your brain, train your brain to realize that action is safe and I trust myself. And that is actually how confidence is built. Then you layer everything else upon that. When my pattern shows up, how will you break your pattern? I need you leaving knowing that pattern that you've identified. What will you do when it shows up? Because here's where we're creating those new neural pathways. That's the only way you shift. It is based on science. That's what I want to tell you. It's based on science. I don't care what you read, what you listen to, those podcasts that give you that short-term motivation, and nothing's wrong with that. If you want to truly shift, you have to create new neural pathways. So when a pattern shows up, I will pop it right into the chat for me. Just act and stop waiting for validation or asking. Take action. Love it. My pattern shows up, I'll take action and send the information I need to proactively. I'll take a deep breath and just act. I'll trust that I can act even when it's not perfect. I will take action. Love it. Make a reversible decision. And here's the reality of that. True confidence is not about perfection. It's about doing the thing while feeling whatever. Just do the thing. And if we're honest with ourselves, we've done this before. Have you ever felt nervous before and you did it? And afterwards, you say to yourself, was it that easy? You mean I've waited this long? And like, that was it? Do the thing. It's a choice. When you're in that moment, I want you to open up your phone because you share it. You save that I am list, that asset list, and look at it and remind yourself, like, this is who I am in the world, and press send on the email that you've been hesitating about for the past 3 days. And I've been there, I promise you. I take out my own list and say, Karen, come on, get it done. I read it and like, boom. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, a new client. I should have done this in, last month. But anyhow, like, that's the reality of it. We create these scenarios in our head. And it's not until you break the pattern that something shifts. So I see some more. I'm reading the chat over here. Focus on one action and follow through regardless if it's perfect. Love it. Trust myself. Take action. Choose one action and take it. Yes, 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 yes. Yep. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right. How's everything been so far? How's everything been? Head nod. Okay. You're walking away with something because that's what this is about. Love it. Love it. Great.